And we are live. What's going on, guys?
Dan?
Dennis Bermudez, Lito, how are you today?
I am excellent. Thank you guys for having me.
Yes. So even that, we actually go, when we do put these episodes up, I usually put them up on TapNapSnet. This is the creator right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
The OG from back in the day.
Such a small project turned into something could have been a lot bigger than what it is now. But
yes,
it's beautiful to see how how that grew. So
yes.
Well, we're trying to get Menace and the Man to surpass Snap.
Well, we're trying to get Menace and the Man to surpass everything.
Yeah, you guys are on your way, man. You know, it's crazy how everything could just everything that you guys put into it, and then just to see it kind of just built from the beginning stages to where you're at now. I'm sure if you look back, you know, you guys are probably pretty impressed with the work that you guys have put out there. So
we used to rent space, kind of.
Yeah. And look at you now, man.
Oh, I don't think we've ever actually looked back.
You should. I think
we
it's
should.
important.
Yeah, we should.
Very true.
We should.
Like,
I think it's
like fighting career, but like what we've done so far, I'm like, yeah.
Bro, you don't even really look back on your fighting career too much, I feel, Menace. Maybe in your head.
You do. I reminisce with you.
Yeah, we not even so much. Every now and then you give little tidbits, but Lito was someone who was there for a lot of it. Like Lito, I know you since we were little kids, little leagues, how we first met growing up in the same town, but then Menace, you walked into Long Island MMA one day, same as Menace, same as myself, and we all met up again. And so even
I was like, Lito, you my brother?
We did look a lot alike. You know, people did start asking that question. I just didn't have the good hair like you did back then.
Yes.
Your hair is better than mine.
You know, letting it grow out a little bit. I mean, Stan's got the. It looks like what do you got back there?
Yeah, I got.
Stan.
Oh, that is.
I had it. I tied it up this week because last week I just had it all fucked up. I look like a Karen. I had like a Karen hair.
Like, when
I've never seen your hair that long.
Yeah.
When you've known someone that looks kind of like Lito, he's like clean cut, shaven, and then you see him like a year and a half later, and then they look like Stan, like they gained weight, have a full beard, long hair. Like, what happened to you? Like, you're a mess. Like, you good, Buzz?
Yeah, no, I'm a mess.
And he's here. He's alive. That's always a plus.
But yes, total mess, Lito. I retired from training. That's even somewhere where I'm sure you shared a lot of time with Menace. I shared a lot of time with you. You build like a bond with someone once you train with them, where it's like we're cool forever.
I 100% agree. I can't tell you just how important that time training really was to me, and it's something that a lot of guys that know. It was just an opportunity that came up. There's a promotional jam coming up, and I really had to make that decision and prioritize, because at the end of the day, I didn't think I would go pro fighting, but I really did enjoy, training with really the best of the best, and everyone in there ended up, doing incredible things within the fighting world, including Menace, and obviously with you, like the only thing I always felt that held you back was the injuries,
Yeah, I was going to say I didn't do anything, but
he drank too much soda.
Yeah.
His bones were brittle.
Listen, I've never seen a guy just come in with a big gulp, crush it, and then just get in there and just start just beating everyone. It was amazing. It really was.
Like it was like some kind of like performance drink. Like,
it's like, what do you got? Now water? No.
Yeah, it's like what hampered me was
warm up. No, I got caffeine right here. This big thing.
I didn't warm up. I smoked a lot of weed and I drank a lot of soda. That was my training regimen.
The healthiest thing out of that was you smoking weed, probably.
Yeah, but Lito was in there. A legend, if you will, in the gym. Everyone remembers Lito's Kimura cuff.
No, I love that, man. That was my go-to. Something that really translated, in my profession too. So
yes, that's something where I was going to segue that to is like you stopped training a little bit for the promotion and you started getting the higher and higher ranking in the police force. So you started. What's the rankings go from? You start as like a patrolman.
Yes, and then the next step would be sergeant. Then after that, lieutenant, and then captain, where I'm at now.
And now
everything else after that is discretionary, so there's no more tests.
So now those are written tests, right?
Yes.
So you put time in, and then you're allowed to take the written test, or are you allowed to take that written test from the jump?
No, you gotta. I believe it's 3 years. You have to have 3 years street time before you're eligible to take the sergeant exam, and then 5 years for that first promotion.
Yes,
and then it's, you got to be 2 years in the rank for each rank after that.
So now let's take it back to days when you were on the street. I guess what would that be? Walking a beat, as the cops say?
Yeah, that or pushing a sector car.
Patrolling, yeah, pushing a sector car. In those days when you had to like really get out of the car, walk the streets, interact with people, jiu-jitsu, I'm sure helped your confidence, right? Or were there ever instances where you had to use your training?
No, yeah, I mean, 100%. I mean, when you talk about the confidence level, and it's something that I'm really trying to instill in my kids now. You know, I got my oldest daughter, I got her into wrestling, even my younger one. And then my little guy, he's 5 years old now. I really want to get him into wrestling, just some sort of martial arts discipline. And just in this day and age, you know, now things are a lot different growing up, and just the confidence builder alone, you know, just getting out there. And there's been numerous incidents where, you know, it's a lot of hand-to-hand stuff that could happen out there. I mean, it's a very tough profession. You know, a lot of noble people do it. We deal with, you know, the best and the worst of society. A lot of the times when people call us, it's not, you know, to see how we're doing and stuff like that. It's because they have an issue that we need to take care of. You know, so there's been plenty of incidents where, you know, the guy or whoever it is that we're looking to either arrest or, you know, get them, you know, the medical attention or whatnot, and they're kind of refusing, but we know they need it. And, you know, they could either be bigger, they may look stronger, stuff like that. And that's where that training, the years of training kind of kicked in. And I knew I had the confidence really to get in there after training with, you know, really the best of the best back in Long Island MMA at my time doing training. And that really just gave me the confidence to know that I can handle myself in the street. I've always worked in like the quote unquote tougher neighborhoods.
So let's back up a little bit, because Stan you know, he's supposed to just be changing cameras on the interview right here.
You're not asking him questions.
No, I'm kidding. No, so you got into Long Island MMA before you became a police officer, or
Negative.
you were a police officer then came to Long Island MMA?
Yes.
And you got to Long Island MMA because you were a fan of the sport, because you thought it'd be good for work, you want to get in shape, or like a combination of all of that?
It was really a combination of all that. And I remember it was back in, I want to say 2010. You know, I was kind of looking for a school training, you know, to see where I could, you know, start picking up, because, you know, I didn't really have martial arts training back then. I took some boxing lessons here and there, but nothing crazy. You know, we all have gotten to street fights, stuff like that. But, you know,
Some more than
really
than others, right, Stan?
Right.
Yeah, well, even you were an athlete. You played collegiate baseball, right?
Yes. So,
yeah. So that's a sport that demands you to be a solid athlete.
I've always been in sports my whole life. But you know, I was already 25 years old at the time, and I was actually Ryan LaFleur. You know, I think I may have posted something on Facebook, and Ryan actually reached out to me and he said he was opening up into school, and just a few months from the time that I made that posting. And, you know, for me, that was a no-brainer. I waited, I think it opened that December or January. And then that just kind of, you know, took off from there. So
the original Long Island MMA, that first academy.
Oh, yeah. And that, like, you know, it wasn't the most members. It was a nice little small space. And just to even see that just grow into what it became, you know, it was just a beautiful thing. It really was.
Do you remember your exact date walking in, Menace? Roughly?
I know I got in there like 2-3 weeks, 4 weeks max before I went on to the Ultimate Fighter show.
Yeah. Because I think you were like the first run of people. Lito. Mike Kuhn was with you, right? Around that same time?
Yeah, we were like the first like original signups, I believe. It was
$100 membership?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember, you know, you were in training for a while. I watched you get better. And then you came in with a story about how, like, you used jiu-jitsu to, like, subdue a dude without anybody getting really hurt. You didn't get hurt. He had to go with you, or unless you want to break his arm type deal. Go take us back memory lane. Go there.
Allegedly.
So I actually remember that, actually telling you that story. And I remember the exact incident. I just remember the guy kind of squaring up. And I'm like, listen, you know, let's just be gentlemen, It's going to hospital. You're not in any type of trouble. We got the whole FU, this, that. I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, listen, either you go or we got to put you in cuffs. He's like, I'd like to see you try. And before he knew that, I had already double-legged him and literally went into like a Kimura, went and put his arm behind his back. Before he knew it, he was cuffed. And he had no idea. He wasn't injured. I wasn't injured. His whole demeanor changed because he's like, all right, this guy knows what he's doing. And it was incredible. I remember that feeling. And I remember telling guys like, look, just join something, do something. And to this day, I tell my cops, like, the importance of training, because really it's your life out there. And, the more training and opportunities that you give yourself off the job, because, not necessarily during the job, we don't really have those opportunities. And some of it may be logistics, because there's so many people. But, it really would behoove people to go upon, take it upon themselves and train. And really, it's for their, for a number of reasons, but more so they're out there doing the dangerous work, and everyone wants to go home at the end of the day safe and sound.
Yeah, because I know some successful, rich, whatever you want to call them, people have told me, like, invest in yourself first. So like there's been times where, like in here when I was training, I got all this workout equipment because I was investing in my training for fighting. I could go to the gym for free and work out there, but I don't know. It was just something about having my own stuff and be able to maybe work out an extra time, And even with work now, like I haven't done it just because they have these weird protocols, like it has to be issued by or approved by the academy, whatever. But like there's gear I can buy that's better than the gear that I have, but it has to get approved, whatever. So that's why I haven't done it. But people were like, you'll buy that? Like, if it makes my job easier or safer, like, it's investing in myself. Same thing with, police officers signing up for jiu-jitsu or wrestling, like, investing in yourself, like, make it safer for you if you get in the hand-to-hand combat to know what you're doing, Right
now, and it just very recently, we had, an issue where there was an officer requesting assistance. And he was on the 8th floor of a very, I think it was like maybe a 15, 16-story building, calling for additional units. It turns out that he was struck with the lamp and the fight was on. And it was just two cops to start, and it was a whole melee. So now, obviously, when cops hear that, they drop everything they're doing and they get there as quickly and safely as possible. So I get there not too long after everyone, there's a mess of cars already there. I go there and, my profession isn't necessarily the healthiest. There's a lot of stress, there's a lot of work hours, and a lot of people kind of use that as an excuse not to, I wouldn't say a lot, but some people use that as an excuse to do nothing. And they become out of shape, they become overweight, things like that. So, there's guys waiting for the elevator. And at this point, what are you waiting for an elevator for? Like, you need to get to the 8th floor, and this is why we train. I myself ran up there 8 flights. We get there, they end up getting the guy into custody. But, the next day, it kind of, it didn't sit well with me. And it's my officers, and, I take a lot of pride. I still, train weight training. I'm not necessarily in an MMA gym anymore, and I miss it every day, believe me. But, I did set up a nice little weight training gym in my garage, and it's something that I still hit, 3-4 times a week. And it's important to me, and I lead by example. I expect people to at least try. I don't want people coming up to me with the excuses, the job, this, that, and the other, because we all go through it. We got families, we got everything else, but I don't use that as an excuse not to work out. And again, it's your life. And if you've ever been in a fight for 2-3 minutes when you're expecting backup, it's one of those things where I don't know if I told these guys, like, look to your left, look to your right. Like, these are the people that are going to come to your assistance. We need to be each other's biggest supporters. We need to tell, whatever it is, it's that tough love. Listen, get in the gym, start eating better, get some sleep, really manage the stress levels, things like that. So, that's one of the things that I really push. I'm a relatively young guy still. I'm 35 years old. I take my health and my fitness really serious when it comes to stuff like that. So I hate seeing things like that. But yeah, the training definitely is very important. So you got to really invest in yourself first before you can help others.
is it real? Sorry, Stan, because my younger brother, like I said earlier, military, police officers in the same, I would like to say the same realm, no?
Yes. I mean, military I held way above me, but that's just me. I feel like those are the best of the best. I have the highest, utmost respect for our military members.
Yeah. They have like scheduled like workout time. Is that something that the police officers have, or?
It depends on the agency. I can tell you, my agency really doesn't. I mean, a lot of guys that are into fitness, really, they'll on their meal time, they will go in there, they will hit the gym, or they'll go in early, or they'll stay late.
You have a gym available though,
yes.
Like on your premise.
And our gym, I won't mention the location, but our gym is actually very top notch. It was just redone a couple of years ago, and it really they brought in all new equipment. They put up new mirrors, new flooring, everything. So they really made it really nice. Awesome. and open and welcoming. When I went to the FBI National Academy, I spent 10 weeks down there in Quantico, Virginia, and shout out to those people. But they, I really learned a lot about how other agencies train, and where some agencies they really excel, others, I wouldn't say use the word fail, but they're lacking. And I think a lot of that, with an agency like mine, the logistics of it, you have about approximately 35,000 members, give or take. It's very hard to really have training time allotted. That's why we always push. Like, listen. Take it upon yourself. Find the gym off duty.
Or I can come to work an hour early, work out, shower, take my shift.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yes. So we live in this weird world now, Lito, where defund the police became like a thing or a slogan or something that like I'm going to say it, stupid people, it caught fire. Like, I don't think that's the answer at all. So obviously, if any type of situation does happen, the answer would always be better understanding or better training. Am I right? It wouldn't be cancel something and let chaos happen. So
if anything, more money, right?
Yeah.
So and obviously this has been a year like no other, right? You had a couple incidents that sparked protests around the nation. And what I say is really more personal opinion. I'm not speaking on behalf of any department or anything like that. But I did work a lot of these protests. I mean, the very first night that it hit New York City, my commanding officer was severely injured, took a brick to the mouth, lost some teeth. It was a wild night, and I remember it was something much different because when I was driving down to the location, I just see things that were on fire. So I'm like, oh, this is something different, But I guess it really, since then and really through the summer, and this summer has been very crazy. And when it comes to the defund the police crowd, it really depends on who you speak to, because the definition is always kind of different. I've spoken to many community members, and I can tell you that the overwhelming majority of the community that I work for are very supportive. When it comes to defunding, there's different meanings for different things. I take it as they want to take funding from the police and put it into other agencies so that the police really isn't taxed with as many things as, such as mental health, like one of the things people always take on. So I don't take any personal gripe or vendetta when people say, defund the police. If you feel that way, there's a reason for it. We can agree to disagree. That's the beauty of this country. We don't all have to think the same.
Bro, but that's like an act of war. Like Menace, if your neighbor threw a brick and it hit you in the face, like, are you going to be like, that was peaceful? I understand his gripe. Like, that's
I shouldn't have grown this flower over here between our lawns.
Yeah, like, what did I do? Just doing your job. Like, that's insane.
The thing is,
and that's probably only one instance. I'm sure there were a lot of instances like that where, like, that guy, granted, whatever, you're against the police, you're for the police, that's his job. He could have just been standing there. It's not like he was sitting there with a bullhorn or ordering tear gas or doing something like that, and he got hit with a brick.
Like, I just don't get, like, in these riots, how someone could just come up and yell in your face whatever they want. It's just like you have to stand there like a British soldier.
Well, you've seen the peaceful, I'm sure, Lito. There is peaceful protests going on, but then
they have their signs, they have their little, their thing. They're keeping their distance. They're
like,
on a little piece of land.
The only thing the news really covered was Soho. Was anywhere else looted, or just that area in Soho?
That was probably the hardest hit area. I was working on the Brooklyn side that night. The radio did sound crazy. I never made it over to the Manhattan side because I worked on the Brooklyn side, but just hearing the mayhem, and it's something that we really, I don't think, I was speaking to a lot of guys that have been doing this way longer than I have. It's something that we really haven't experienced here in New York City. I mean, you see riots in other parts of the country, you think it could never happen in New York City, but it did. When it's going back to Menace's point about, standing there as, like British soldiers or whatnot, at the end of the day, we're professionals. We're held to a higher standard. I always tell my guys, look, people are upset. They're protesting. They have the right to protest. It's a First Amendment right. We believe in the Constitution, and they're allowed to do that.
Can I stop you for 1 second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, let's say I go in Times Square. It's just me. 2 cops are sitting there, which there always is 2 cops or a couple cops, and I'm just like, yeah, like a year ago. He'd be like, you're under arrest. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily. It depends on the situation. I wouldn't necessarily say you're under arrest, but a lot of instances we've had people come up and
like I was like. I'm going to say a lot of this is just like you're raised by animals, I guess. Like if my father found out I was at a raid, like spitting in cops' faces and like throwing shit, he would whoop my ass.
Yeah. Like imagine going home and being like, Dad, I hit the fucking police commissioner.
Yeah, you should have saw it. He was bleeding.
I hit the police commissioner in the face with a brick. You're proud, right? Like what kind of family you come from?
A lot of conversations I've had with members of the community, and like I said, I can tell you, I think, personal opinion, I think the media has really blown a lot of this and lit the fire under a lot of the quote unquote police versus the world type of dispute or whatever you want to call it. The overwhelming community that I've dealt with, and again, I've worked in some tough neighborhoods, and I still do. Are very supportive, and we had a community meeting in the middle of summer, and we had a great conversation. Everyone was open and honest, and I think it was unanimous agreement that it really does start in the home, discipline in the home, and teaching the kids the right way, and teaching them about respect, and it really goes on to other things. It's a multifaceted issue. It's not just, you can't just blame the police for everything that's wrong. Just like I can't blame any other profession for anything that's wrong. There's a lot of issues. People, it could be based off personal experience. It could be, I know personal friends that have had dealings with the police that haven't gone that way. I've had dealings with police that haven't gone great. It's not like, we are all perfect. Nobody's perfect. If anyone tells you they're perfect, they're lying to you. But I really feel like just listening to each other and understanding and really truly understanding, not just listening to, oh yeah, whatever. And then, you get your points across and stuff like that, but really trying to hear what the other person's saying and feeling and really that empathy aspect and saying, all right, if I went through that too, then I could understand. And I think if it went the other way as well, then we'd actually get somewhere with this.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree, I think, but what I'm having a hard time with is like an officer, a fucking retarded officer, kills on purpose or accidentally kills somebody, whatever, whether he's a good civilian or not, right? People go crazy, and then they just start destroying like everything. But it's like, let's say a police officer killed my brother, like, what precinct does he live in? Like, yeah, destroy that. Not saying go destroy, but like, I could see you either finding out where that guy lives and destroying his house, or destroying like who employs him, versus like fucking everywhere. Like, that's like the definition of shit where you eat, right?
Yes, and I agree 100% with you. And I think a lot of people have channeled their anger towards certain situations and maybe utilize that incident, to kind of flip the narrative and make it into something. And then it just completely
steal shit.
Yeah, and then nobody remembers, pretty much why people are upset in the first place. Now, I've had conversations with protesters. Some of them can't even answer why they're protesting.
Exactly,
they're there because everyone's out. So.
It's the media and the easily influenced. That almost like you'll be surprised. There's so many people out there that are probably loners or just want to be a part of something that they're like, oh my god, I'm into this. There's a crowd gathering and.
Hang on, Stan. Here's another thing a wrench I'll throw in there is like, COVID, you're not allowed to do shit. Oh shit, there's a gathering over here? People getting wild? They got some beers going, they're getting fucking riled up, and they're gonna throw shit? Like, I'll hide in the back and throw some shit too, like sick. Hang on, I'm not kidding. That actually sounds like an awesome time to me. I used to love going to like abandoned buildings and like breaking windows from like.
Again, I think there's a lot of things that people I think are just frustrated with the way this year has gone. There's a lot of things that have led up to where we've gotten. Again, I can't point to one specific incident or another, but it's a combination, and people are just frustrated at this point. They see what's going on.
So one thing that's
like picking and choosing.
One thing that the media, you can never know what's true and what's not, but they kind of like let out, or like I've seen news articles about it, but what was like the police stance when all these protests, riots were going on, like, or the looting, if you will? Like, I remember seeing reports that you guys were told to stand down or told to let it play out till it dies down or something like that, or like what?
I mean, I refuse to believe that ever happened. And I think when the Minnesota incident happened,
but you have heard this, right?
I've heard reports, but one of the things that I learned through all this is kind of just unplugging from the whole social media aspect. I haven't been
on radio too.
Well, even my question is like, what was the NYPD stance during that time? Were you guys were the people were anyone who rioted Soho, were people arrested?
There were numerous arrests that night. I couldn't tell you a number, but there were numerous people that were arrested.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The news didn't cover that because they had to, I guess.
And really, the department made an official statement, came out and denounced what happened in Minnesota and other parts of the country. When things are wrong, the department calls it out, and it was one of those things where, regardless, I think of what our stance would have been, people wouldn't want to hear it at the time because of the emotions, and when emotions are high, rationale is low. So it's like, you have that scale, emotions are high, people aren't going to want to hear it. You really got to de-escalate, bring everything down, and then really have that conversation with people.
Oh, for sure.
A pro of the con, right? The con being people rioting, like the police force is able to get like overtime like no one's business. You guys need like all hands on deck, like all the time.
Yeah, I mean, those times were crazy. I remember that month alone. I don't even know if I went home that month. Like that's how much
we tried to get you on when it was like hot. You were like, dude, I can't even fucking.
At some point, like it was like literally like all the days meshed together. I just didn't even know what day it was anymore. It was just a lot of craziness going on. I think we got hit with a lot of things from different angles at the same time. And it really was, a time of adversity for the department. Just like any other agency, military organization, we're very resilient. So it's, we weathered the storm. We're kind of stabilizing now. We're just working to, building those relationships and really just, people that are really upset and stuff like that. And truly, truly upset for the right reasons. We really try to understand and try to make things better.
Oh, and
so I came across this meme.
Well, wait, we've been trying to link this up for a minute.
Yeah,
trying to organize this.
No, I remember, and I always felt bad, man. I really did. Like, It was always like, I didn't really have a steady schedule at the time. Like now, I'm a little more steady. And then today, I knew yesterday, when Menace reached out, I knew yesterday was a bad day, but today I'm like, you know what? I'm leaving at this time. I don't want to hear anything. I'm leaving. I got something to do.
We were like,
I really wanted to.
We had a lot of times where we were like, Dana White, could you do Monday? He was like, no. We were like, Lito, could you do Monday? You were like, no. We were like, what the fuck we gonna do? we can't get none of these guys.
You put me in the same conversation with Dana White. That's crazy.
Bro, you were in there. You're an important guy, a high-ranking official in the. I would say when you're a captain, that almost makes you. You're a government official. That's high-ranking enough. Like, how much further can you go in your?
Really, sky's the limit at this point. But everything's based off merit. So. How
many more levels are there to go up? There's commission. What's above captain?
There's deputy inspector is the next level, then inspector, which my commanding officer was promoted to today, and then you have chief. So, and then you have different levels of chief. You got a 1, 2, and 3 star. So,
at what point is Lito Gil making decisions like all police are trained by Dennis Bermudez and Renzo Gracie?
That would be an amazing thing, but that would take a long time. When you get to those levels, the job really becomes you, and that's something that I don't know if I'm ready. I'm not saying
once
that
your kids go off to college, you'll be ready.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know what's in store for me. Like, I'm here to work. I'm here to just do the best job that I personally can, to have the best impact that I can for not just my cops, but the community that I work for. And then, just kind of see where that takes me, man. Like, I don't have any ceiling right now. I didn't make it to this level to stay dormant. So, I'm here now. I'm relatively young. Like I said, there's not many that are, my age at this level. So we'll see what the department has in store for me. So
I'd imagine you're very young for your position, right?
Yeah, I'm one of the younger ones. I'm 35, so generally when you make captain, you're within that 15 to 20 years of service mark, and I made it just before my 12 years, so I made it pretty quick.
So now a captain, though, that's a desk job, more or less. Like, are you still walking the streets at all?
For the most part, it's administrative. I do get out there. I do ride around maybe like an hour or two a day just to see what's looking. If anything needs more attention than others, things like that. But it's majority. It's an administrative position.
But when shit was going down, you were in a car.
Oh yeah, I was out there. I was down in the protest area. We had our own protests to deal with. And like I said, I work in a very tough neighborhood, and the shootings went through the roof. And it was something that, we look at we got hit pretty hard in such a short period of time. So
aren't they up right now? I remember reading that recently that they're up like
we're up a lot. I couldn't tell you the percentage. I know, with my precinct, my command alone, we had 51 total shootings last year in 2019, and right now we're at 92, and we still have about 5 weeks left in the year, so we've almost doubled our number from last year. So that kind of paints a picture of how crazy this year has been.
And like you said, I'm not going to put the words in your mouth, but like a lot of people say, and we say it here all the time, it's all the media stirring this pot up. Like, everyone can just chill and not fucking go crazy every time something happens, or the way the media spins something. What, Menace?
Yes, Stan, yes, the media, but like, let's say you're driving your car and you see like 7 cop cars on one car, and you pass that. You're like, dude, I can indefinitely speed for like another like 10 miles before I kind of slow down. There might be a cop, right?
Wait, say that again. Say that last
like
part.
When you're driving on the thruway or whatever, Southern State, you see like 7 cop cars at an accident or someone pulled over, and you're like, oh, all the cops are here. They're not worried about me. Like, woo, like you can book it for like another 10 miles before you'd be like, all right, I'm in a new area where I might gotta slow down. Right? I don't know how Long Island is as far as resources. I can tell you, New York City, there's cops everywhere. So, and it's you can't go that fast. There's many lights. Anyways, my point being, so like, Lito, do you listen to Hot 97?
Not anymore. It's been a long time.
I recently just had to stop, especially when shit was going down, because they were like they were talking amongst each other, like, man, like, crime's gone up. Like, man, we stop shooting each other. Da, 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 da. And then a police officer calls up. He didn't reveal his name. And he's like, hey, man, like, yeah, I work for NYPD. And, like, the reason why, you know, crime's gone up is because, like, when something happens, we're kind of told not to kind of look the other way. And he was like, what? Like, what might I do? He's like, you know, like, because if we put any kind of, you know, resistance to anybody, like, we lose our jobs. Like, I got kids to feed and shit. Like, he's like, you don't think, you know, there's like a happy medium? You can, you know, like, not saying you should look the other way, but like you should, you know, and the guy had to like instantly like backpedal because all the guys from Hot 97 were like on him. Like, they couldn't even like fathom like what this guy was saying. He had to like backpedal, like, no, yeah, like, I think you're right. I think there's a happy medium, you know, but like, dude, like, for example, like what you did like back in the day, like you might be in court now for like, and because he said like,
and you know what the craziest thing is? If you train jiu-jitsu for a few years, you get to this level with a rear naked choke that you could choke someone out and you're like, all right, he's good. You're not going to go, oh, I'm fucking killing this guy. And they now have outlawed that move. Instead of going, we know from jiu-jitsu being proven as, along with wrestling, getting it to the ground, the most effective art, this shit works. This shit is the most effective. Absolutely. Like, so why wouldn't we get better at it and train it more as opposed to outlawing it and get to almost, now granted, people have died from it, not trying to discredit that, but taking away a weapon from police that could almost save their life. Like, so you're telling me...
And save both lives.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like, if I'm gonna...
The gun could save his life, but like, not the other
like,
guys.
You could be...
You know what it is? I think, and Dennis, I think you could probably relate to it and saying, obviously, but Dennis, you went pretty far in the professional MMA. You did a lot of great things. But I'm sure you've come across people with the stereotype of you being an MMA fighter. Oh, this guy's a brute, or this, that, and the other, right? So you have these stereotypes that you're dealing with. And when it comes to, you know, our profession, you know, people have similar stereotypes. Meanwhile, you are one of the most trained martial artists in the world, and you know what you are capable of. You know when you can go where you don't hurt someone. You hurt someone if you need to, but you're not hurting anyone. And that's where, you know, in the beginning of our discussion, when it comes to training and stuff like that, that's where it's really important, because not only the training aspect where guys are learning what they can and cannot do, how they can safely bring people down, but they're also learning that it's really not as bad as people make it out to be. You know, people have these stereotypes like, oh, this guy, you know, he's a jiu-jitsu fighter. Like, I still have a little bit of cauliflower, and people they always look at me funny. It's like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, this guy's a trained fighter, this, that, and the other. Like, oh, he'll choke you out. And it's like, that's not what it's about, you know. And it's just like what Dennis just said. It's like you're giving people skills that are really, it's going to keep both parties safe, and it's really going to save someone, you know, hopefully both people's lives, but it's going to save lives, proper training. And that's where I always push and I advocate for more training. And our training department has gotten so much better. They've recruited the right people. You got people that have achieved very high ranks in the jiu-jitsu world that work in the police academy. And, you know, they're slowly starting to, with the new recruits and stuff, and kind of pushing that, the grappling and the MMA aspect. Whereas, you know, when I went to the police academy, or through the police academy almost 14 years ago, it was kind of like, you know, a week of grappling and boxing, and it was just kind of, that's it, you're out, you're on your own. So.
Yeah, like if you're trained, your confidence is going to be up. You're way less likely to reach for your gun. You're going to be like, all right, as long as he doesn't reach for my gun, I'm just going to have to tie this guy up real quick.
Like, there should be like a pay grade with that. Like, oh, you're a black belt? Like, all right, that's like, I don't know, $5,000 extra a year, even though it's way more than that. Just something people are like, whoa, I can make $5 extra grand a year from a black belt.
Well, even Menace.
You know, it is, I think
belt, it's.
Yeah, money shouldn't be the main motivator for people.
I understand that, but like $5,000 for a full year is like pennies.
Yeah, but right? I just think people need to take their lives into, like, they're training for them. It's not like, and that's one of the issues. Like, you know, when it comes to like money and stuff like that, and people get motivated by money, they're not doing it for the right reasons. You know, so it's like,
Because there are a lot of gyms that will be like Long Island MMA. You're a police officer, you get a discounted rate.
Right. And I think
There's a lot
that's
of other places that are
phenomenal.
like that.
It's great. And a lot of people don't take advantage of that for one reason or another, whether it's because they don't feel like it, because it's laziness, because they use excuses to do pride, like they don't want to go in there. And I remember I had no idea. I'm going against kids that were much smaller than me, and they're wrapping me up like a pretzel. I'm like, holy shit, I really need to humble myself and really learn. And that's really how I got myself better. It's like, it's really, the MMA training that I received, it was incredible. I can't even describe how big that was for me.
Yeah, the confidence is so game changing. I feel once you know what you're doing, even a little bit, you're not, especially if you're a cop, you're going to be less likely to use deadly force on somebody.
And I could definitely agree with that. I mean, you get into the situations a lot of the times where it's like, damn, it's just you and I. It's just you gotta.
For me to come down and train, like
if you know mount and knee on belly. If you know how to take someone's back, release the rear naked choke when they're subdued or done, or knee on belly and mount, you're good to go. Like you could knee on belly and hold a perp down as your partner comes and flips them over, gets the cut. Like there's so many, you can control people. But yes, like Menace was saying.
More training thing?
Go ahead.
Should we put together our own training thing and sell it?
That'd be something. That'd be pretty awesome.
Like where you need them to be. I'll be like, all right, so this is how I'd get them there.
Yeah, that's something that we can definitely talk about. I have no problems with that. I think that would be, I think that would be tremendous.
Is that in Lito's pay grade to set something up where we get Menace in there, showing some cops some moves to protect themselves on the streets?
That's something.
I'm saying even if me and Lito make a video that could be used.
Oh, okay, that's what you were getting at. Absolutely.
Because
I definitely, I got to look at the whole. Logistics, because there's certain things I told you guys like I can and cannot do.
Yeah.
But if I get the approval for it, I would 100% be down with that. And coming from the position of influence that you have, and then what I have now in the department, maybe people will see that and be like, you know what, I can see it. This guy's taking it serious. Like I see what they're doing, and it's something that just to spark that interest to get them just their foot in the door. I believe once they get their foot in the door, they're gonna get hooked. It's just what MMA does. And
so I'm gonna play devil's advocate here.
Wait, Menace, I was gonna say coming next month, NYPD videos with Ronda Rousey.
Because hang on, Stan says it because I've sent a few ideas to UFC. And then, like, for example, I'm like, yo, you guys should have me on
Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon show. He's from my town. Like, I fight for you guys. He's from my town. I think it'd be awesome. Like, 2 weeks later, Ronda Rousey was on there. And I asked him something about, like, dude, I'm a fucking sick dancer. You guys should get me on Sick Dance of the Stars. Like, a month later, Paige Vanzant's on there. I'm like, is it irony? Or they were like,
nah.
Like, so Dennis is here. Let's put like one of our main stars up there.
Yeah. Listen, you're a star in my eye, bud. You really are.
So Lito, no fights anymore, right? No, you don't even watch. You haven't even been able to watch them anymore.
This year has been like I said, no other. I really, when I'm off, I really try to focus and spend that time with the family. And I owe it to them, especially after everything that we've done.
What are you at now? 3 kids?
Yeah, 3 kids. It's I'm done. No more. That's it. So it's just it's one of those things where I really had to, because I spent so much time, getting to where I'm at today, and you guys know, especially Dennis, you know what it takes to be there. Like you really have to do this 24/7. You got to train when nobody else is, training, or the other guys not training. Like you really have to go that extra effort, and to get something that you've never had, you got to do things you never did. That's it, man. You got to get to that next level. So
Stan, you see our boy over here, Lito, doing like strongman shit. Like, what do you?
I see him lifting. Yeah, I seen him lifting.
So it's funny how I got into that. I mean, I was having like little nagging injuries here or there, and I met this kid who's incredible, just a strong dude. And I was telling him, we were just talking about training, and he kind of set me up with a program, and I just started just lifting heavier and heavier. I got stronger. A lot of those nagging injuries kind of went away, and I just kind of, with that addictive personality. Like I always applied to MMA training when I was doing it to, the promotional exams, into the job, to where it got me today. And now I'm just kind of putting that into the gym. And that gym really is a release for me. It's not my time to kind of get away from everything. You talk about mental health and mental wellness, stuff like that. I really, when I'm in there, man, I'm just in a different world. And just to push my body to that max. And, that's why I got into it. And how that's pretty much it on that.
So even here, a little out there question or mental health question. So like with military, obviously they're in a little bit heavier shit. They'll experience PTSD. I could almost see, because of the anxiety of the situation, especially being a cop in Brooklyn or Manhattan, these highly populated, potentially some areas highly crime, there's got to be some your anxiety. It's got to play with your nerves a little bit, if you will, right?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's just, I wouldn't compare it to the military, because the military sees all this stuff, but you really see some of the most messed up things.
It's similar. The military obviously is worse, but yes, it's similar.
Very similar. And one of the things that I really do, and I stress to the supervisors that work for me, and I say, listen, follow up with your cops, make sure they're okay. Make sure, if they saw that dead baby, or if they saw that gunshot wound, the gunshot victim, or that crazy car accident, make sure mentally they're okay. Everything all right? This profession, you want to, you're the machismo and everything else. We're just humans under the badge. That's what people fail to realize.
Yes.
We're just regular people. We're not robots. We have our feelings. We laugh.
How far
cry,
away are
everything
robots?
You never know, man. Robots are kind of taking over, everything.
If you think about it,
I was walking around Stop and Shop.
Robot.
Yeah. I was walking around Stop and Shop, and I see this little social distancing robot. I'm like, what is this thing? And it's walking around.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow, you never seen that, Menace?
No. What?
The thing with the big bottom and the skinny, that thing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What does it do?
It just goes around the store and it's maintain social distancing, this, that. And it's just
but it's not actually keeping people away from each other.
That's what it is. It used to be something else. It used to go around and maybe tell people about sales or something, but now they reprogrammed it, and now it's a social distancing.
Really?
Yeah.
But in my head, imagine this is a guy that comes in whoa, your heart. That's what when you said that, when you said robot, I'm like, this thing's pushing people around?
I almost want to say, the one in Stop and Shop used to, it might still, it rolls around with the circular, and now it has antibacterial wipes and shit like that.
It has this, it has that.
Here's the move. I don't know if I should be saying this because my millions of dollars will be but police officers should turn to robots that are remote controlled, right? You guys are watching through the camera, whatever. And then if, let's say they see something they don't like freeze, stop, and the guy doesn't stop, it shoots a fucking tag into them. And then real cops come and track them down yo, dude, we have the rest of you now.
That's pretty, it's a pretty wild concept. I'd be all for it.
What do you mean? Nobody's getting hurt.
Jeff Bezos.
And if you got fucking shot with a fucking tag,
Jeff Bezos.
Get out, you're fuck, they're coming for me. What are you going to do?
Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos are all over that one, Menace.
You can kill yourself, I guess.
So
I think that's pretty wild. I've seen just not too long ago, we had a shooting where the special operations units, they deployed a robot dog, which I've never seen before. I thought it was pretty cool.
I think I heard of this.
Well, they have the bomb. Cool. They have the robot bomb things, right? At this point,
yeah. I've seen. They deploy robots any type of a barricaded situation, and it's got cameras, speakers, stuff like that. It's really cool where technology has gotten to it.
Imagine being a cop back in the. Granted, the bombs were probably less, but being a cop back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and you had to go in.
Yeah,
and fuck with
Nerves
that bomb.
of steel, man.
Or even.
No, I think I got cut off. I've had this pulled up on my phone for a while. I even put it in front of the camera.
Yeah, what'd you put in front of the camera before?
A Portland. I don't know if this is true or not. It's on the New York Post on Instagram. A Portland politician who called the cops over an argument with her Lyft driver dispute her support for the defund the police movement now says she acted out of fear of white supremacists.
Interesting. It's I guess
I
that's
love
ironic.
when people like defund the police and they're like, I got a problem.
Yeah.
Bro, here's the thing.
You know,
Menace, have you ever dialed 911?
No.
I have never in my life dialed 911.
neither have I.
Do I think the police should be defunded? No fucking chance. Like, do I want, like, anything that any which way you can pitch of the police not being there? And I've had bad instances with police, but I still think there's a need for police. Like, that's just
Lito,
common
no
sense.
offense, I don't think I need police, but I think the general public does.
I hear you, and you know what? I hear that all the time, and I'm perfectly fine with it. Like I said, it's the police are there. It's a necessary thing, and a lot of
I
people
want the police
do
there
need
for
it,
my mom,
you know?
my grandmother.
Right. And that's the things that people they fail to talk about. You know, they kind of they go into specific incidents and situations, and then that's what they use to call for, you know, a quote unquote defunding or what have you. Like, it's not. I don't take it like that. I don't when I hear defund the police, I don't take it as, you know, get rid of them. I take it, you know, as they want those resources. Again, everyone's definition is different. And this is coming from my conversation.
This is the first I'm ever hearing of like anything other than like less cops. Continue.
Yeah, it's I've definitely heard it where they're like, you know what, we want the funds that, because people think we make millions of dollars, which we don't. They want to take that money and they want to invest it in other social programs and stuff in these communities that are really impacted the most by crime and what have you. So that I think that's how I take it, and that's based off my conversations alone.
I forget I forget where it was. It might have been Michigan or somewhere in Detroit or Minnesota, whatever, where they were saying defund the police altogether. Might have been California even. They were like, get rid of the police and we'll come
Portland?
up. Maybe Portland, somewhere. And they were like, we'll come up with something new.
I mean, is that realistic? I mean,
It's not.
I believe, what was it? Portland was a whole, what was that thing called? They overtook
Chaz.
yeah. How'd that
Over
work out?
time, let's say they're like, all right, police, no more. Over time, they would probably call them something different, but they would have a body of people doing exactly what
the police do. Yeah, that's like, what are you going to come up with? You're going to come up with the same fucking plan.
And listen,
they call tellers, tattletellers.
I wouldn't point, like I said, there's so many things that have got us to this point. You can't place the blame on a single entity or agency or person, place, or thing. You know, I think there's been a time where they quote unquote remove funds and they place them in social work. They place a lot of funds in social type work to, you know, bring people that are not cops to work with those that are mentally ill, dealing with, you know, whatever illnesses they're doing. And the problem is that a lot of, you know, mental illness calls that we have get very dangerous very quick. And weapons are produced within a second. And next thing you know, the police they need to be there. You know, and I think that's what people fail to understand. It's just really, I think, you know, people just aren't doing their own research, I want to say. I think it's just they're kind of regurgitating stuff that they may hear from either their friends or the news and stuff like that. If you actually look into, you know, what's going out there, you can kind of see, you know, just like Stan said, and just Menace alluded to, like, you kind of history repeats itself, and you're just going to have that revolving door where it all comes back, and now the police are kind of handling, you know, those things that they didn't want them handling in the first place.
So speaking of history, this is my take on things. I mean, yes, generations change, people feel more entitled to things, but this shit has been going on like how forever, right? And I'm on, like, when I see these people getting shot by police and like, yo, hands up, like, whoa, like, put the knife down. They're being attacked. Like, for me, it's like, yeah, I would have pulled the trigger like 9 seconds ago. Like, actually, like 7 minutes ago, you know? Yeah, these things have probably happened over time. What's happening really is camera phones and things being whatever, you know, and now people are like, it's just.
Well, camera phones. Wait.
Also,
Camera phones, but also whatever narrative they want to push. I guarantee you that they have two videos in front of them. One is a white guy being shot, one's a black guy being shot, and I'm not saying this is every time, but I'm saying there's definitely been an instance where they're going to go with the one that seems more salacious or appealing to their news narrative, or what could get headlines and shit like that. Like, that's how the news works. And then they don't realize the trickle down effect that something like that could happen. Like, they're just trying to get ratings, and it's going to turn into Ferguson or, you know, areas of the country like that wind up in complete chaos because the police killed someone coming at them, you know?
Right. And then backing up off of that, my parents, my grandparents, my teacher, my principal, police officers that's probably the handful of people that I'm like, what? Sorry, like, what'd you say?
Respect.
Get my first. I'm sorry. Okay, you're superior to me. Not necessarily superior, but just like
you're not you're not a superior person, but I respect you. I understand that. Yes, what did I do wrong? Yeah, you know.
You know, like.
I could definitely agree with that. Just to your point about camera phones, I think that definitely escalated a lot of things because it does give the appearance that these things are happening all the time.
Well, they're edited too.
Yeah, and that's another thing, and a lot of allegations that being made, not even just shootings, just things in general, things that happen out there. A lot of the times, the clip that gets out there is an edited clip. It just goes right into the confrontation, what have you, but you don't have what's leading up to it and everything else that's happened to it.
Right.
So now, I just think it's a combination of things, and yeah, maybe the media is fueling a lot of it. But again,
like for ratings, right? For money at the end of the day.
Right. But who's affected by it the most at the end of the day? It's the people that are out there and the people that are doing this job and the people in the community that are, they're really, they're victims. They're victims. There's some serious criminals out there that are doing a lot of bad stuff, and they need us, and they know they need us, and they're outright and supportive. And that's the narrative that you don't really see on the media. You don't see people like, oh, thank the police. Like, I can't tell you, with the whole pandemic and everything that was going on, the amount of, people showing their support and sending food and stuff to the police, and like, hey, thank you guys for your service. And like that, they would never put that out there because it's not like, Dennis and what you guys are saying, like, it's not going to sell. It's not a sexy story, like I call it. It's just not, it's not something people want to hear. They want to see that confrontation. They want to see those incidents because they know that's going to spark debate. That's going to get the emotions high. And when emotions high, like I mentioned, rationale is low.
But the thing is, when those fucking people show up the CEOs of these fucking big corporations' door, will that change? You know what I'm saying? Which they live in they know where the fuck they live within their gated communities where and they live there for a fucking reason.
Right.
And,
and you're making a lot of good points that many people or a lot of people don't actually think for themselves. So like you can see the big picture. You can kind of read through, I don't know if it's the motives. I don't know what the right word is, but, you can kind of see it's like, all right, they're in support of this because they're not personally affected by it. And until they're personally affected by it, then maybe they could truly understand the effects of what they're actually doing and all the impact of that, the negative press and everything else says. Whereas if you just turn around and just start talking about, positive things that are happening and positive, interactions. And that's really a part of the big reason why I kind of got off social media is because, I started, everyone was just fighting. Everyone had to debate everything. It went from, hey, look, my kid did this to it was either, election talk. It was this, that, the other. Like, I just didn't want to see it anymore. And it was like, you know what, let me remove myself from that. You know, if I don't see it, I don't need to worry about it. You know, I'm good. My family first and foremost. You know, I'm at work. I don't see any of that stuff at work. And like I said, we're getting a lot of tremendous support from our community members and stakeholders there. And they know the work that we do. They know we all have families. We're all invested. And the cops that work for me, they do tremendous work. They go out there. They're never going to be like that cop that you mentioned, you know, that called into Hot 97, like, oh, you know, we were told to stand down. Nobody's ever told anybody that. So, you know, I would call BS on that. Nobody's ever told them to stand down. You know, yeah, there's things that have happened and you got to be a little more careful. Maybe laws have been passed, but that's never stopped people from doing their job. And I can tell you, you know, I have cops out there that are making gun arrests, taking illegal firearms off the street every single day. And every bullet in that illegal gun is another life saved. And that's the stuff that's not out there.
Well, yeah, even that's why I asked the question before, because that was the narrative that was put out, was that the police were ordered to stand down, which then or
look the other way. Same thing. Yeah.
Well, no,
I've never seen that. I've never personally, you know, I can tell you we've never issued any type of order. I think that's ridiculous. I think, you know, we all have families that live in the city. You know, I have my grandmother lives in the city. The last thing I would want is a cop to turn away from my grandmother needs assistance. So I would never do that to anyone. I would never tell anyone to do that.
Yes. Well, we support Lito here at Menace to the Man. We support the police here. Even though we never call the police. I got to be honest. I never would. Like we said, I don't think we need them, but
I get it.
Some people do.
I'm going to go upstairs and load my crossbow before I call the police.
Yeah, listen, I completely get it. And you know what? You know what's also not sexy is supporting the police and the fact that you guys are doing it and standing on your values, your core values. It speaks a lot to you guys, and I wish more people would actually do that.
Yeah, don't. I'm like, what? Yeah, there's a few douchebags. There's a few douchebags in everything.
Well,
yes.
There's probably a douchebag in your fucking family. What do you mean? Like,
there's probably a great philosopher who said it originally, but for me, it was Kyle Sermonara said you should never speak in absolutes. And that pertains to so many different expressions, walks of life, whatever. Never speak in absolutes. Every cop is not the same. Every MMA fighter is not the same. Every whatever. Every black person, white person, Puerto Rican, Dominican, you know, everybody's not the same. So people can always make up their own mind and be different and come up with their own conclusions. That everyone's not a piece of shit. So
that's a great quote, and I'll piggyback on that. I mean, I think, you know, people want to express their opinions and stuff, and it's like, oh, you know, all cops are bad, this, that, and the other. But if it was the other way around, they would be outraged. And, you know, with our profession, you know, we understand people want to voice their opinions and stuff like that. And I always tell people, don't get baited. Don't take stuff personal. They're going to say they want to kill your family, your children, this, that, and the other. Like, as long as they're not in your face doing, you know, in your personal space and or committing crimes or anything like that, like they're upset, let them speak their mind. They're not talking to you. They're talking to the uniform. They have no idea who you are, where you live, this, that, and the other. Like, let them vent their frustrations. And 9 times out of 10, I would say even more times than that, like pretty much every single time they walk away after they given the opportunity to, you know, vent. So,
yeah,
I guess I've done that on 2 occasions. Like, sometimes I'll be talking to someone on something I'm very educated about, and they're just in the opposite, like almost like they're trying to fuck with me, like talking about the opposite thing I'm saying. And I'm like, you're an idiot. I can't get mad at you because you are actually an idiot. So, like, that'd be me. I'd be downgrading myself by, like, going to your idiocy and trying to, like, convince you that, like, hey, what don't you see? Like, no, you're an idiot. Okay, you got your opinion. I can't even argue with you. You're that dumb.
I think at this point,
you're that dumb. I can't even get mad about it because
I think at this point it's very difficult to change people's opinions on stuff. You know, I think that regardless of what the topic is, you know, kind of people dig into the sand and just when Stan quoted Kyle and saying that you can't speak in absolutes, like really you don't dig into the sand on any type of ideology because things change. You may feel a certain way about something now, but that may change given off facts and stuff that you learn later on. It's like, man, I really had this wrong, or you know what, I can see what the other person was saying. But I think we really need to do better as a society, just be more understanding that most people aren't going to change their minds. And it's just kind of like, you know what, agree to disagree, and you're better off that way than just getting into a heated debate discussion that never ends well. So
yes, well, Lito, luckily we have you out there. You're one of the good ones, but we'll let you get to the family. You don't watch any fighting anymore, so we're not going to pick your brain on MMA. We'll just keep up with the...
I wish I did. I tell you, it's a resolution for the next year. I got to get back into it. It's something that I truly enjoy.
Oh, Menace the man, and we'll keep you up to date.
All right, that sounds great.
Menace, I used to invite Lito to like every fight. I've invited you to numerous fights, Lito.
Yeah, you did. You have.
Every time I had an extra ticket, I was like, Lito, you want to come? He always had work.
Always working. And that's 100% fact. Every Friday, Saturday night, I'm working.
Yeah.
Very rarely do I have a Friday, Saturday night off. It just comes with the territory, comes where I work. Believe me, you know me. I would be there in a heartbeat. But it just didn't work out for whatever reason. Just like I'm happy I'm able to kind of sit down, catch up with you guys. This has been a tremendous conversation. You guys know how I feel about you. I mean, I love you guys. You really guys just really, I always go back to my training days, and I remember those times, everything that I learned about myself, getting my ass kicked by you guys. So
I will give you that you maybe tapped me out one time, but who would you tap out more, me or Stan?
He never tapped me out.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with that incentive. That's one time. Because Stan was like, he was my, I couldn't.
You never tapped Stan out?
Bro, I was fucking good, Menace. You slept on me.
He was good. I'm telling you, he was very good.
I love Lito. Lito's like,
you got me in my early days.
I remember.
I did before, when you were straight wrestling, that's the only time. But then you just, like everything else, you just became ridiculous at it. And it was over.
I remember
that's the only thing in your life you've ever beat me in, is that how many times Lito Gil has submitted us.
What do you mean? How many times have I tapped you out versus how many times you tapped me out?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. What? You're insane right now.
But wait. Like, I remember, so when Lito first came...
Lito, you've been in the same room. Who'd you hear go, more?
Listen, Stan is a very gritty part. Like, just that guy is very scrappy. He gets through it. But you know what? And that was his thing. Like, and I always said it. That was the only thing. That was the only thing holding him back, man. I really think
because he smoked too much pot.
Things.
Yeah, if you gave me Menace round 1 and 2, Menace was done. Yeah. Menace was done.
Done?
There you go.
Done.
I don't know. Dennis used to come out like a ball of fire, man.
Yeah, right, Stan.
I'm kidding. But even so Lito and me played Little League together. And then I don't know how well Lito remembers it, but I remember vividly the first time that me and you met back up at Lima. It was like one of those, because like Lima opened up a few months before it opened up, and there was like a group like
Lima is short for Long Island MMA.
Long Island MMA. So there was like me, Michelino, like a handful of guys that like trained before it opened up. And then it officially opened up, and I remember Lito coming in and us seeing each other and being like, I don't meet too many Litos. You don't meet too many Stanleys. Like, we play Little League together. And I remember you being like, this isn't going to go. We slapped hands, and you went, this isn't going to go good, right? And I went, no, it's not. I've been doing this for a minute.
Yeah, it's like I said, I remember that just being a humbling experience.
Stan's the worst guy you want to first go with because he's trying to prove himself.
No, not at all.
This time, I'll fuck around with you. We'll have a good time.
No, I just had experience on him.
Yes, you would never want to do this again.
But I knew
Steven Seagal.
But I knew Lito was an athlete, so I probably did put it on him because I was like, all right, I remember this kid. I remember this fucking kid. I rode the bench.
He's gonna have potential.
I rode the bench.
Put it on early.
Wait.
So
I rode
brain.
I rode the bench in Little League. This kid started. This kid made the All-Star team. Like, this kid, I remember this fucking guy.
Is it because he's Dominican?
those are my old. Yeah, you're born with these skills, the baseball skills. It's not. You can't do anything about that.
When you're Dominican, you come out of the womb, and it's like you're a second baseman.
That's it. I already was fielding ground balls. Before I was walking. So
you're an infielder. It just happens.
But yeah, it's just going back to those days, man. Like I said, shout out to Ryan and
those are better times.
Depot. Oh, it's much better times, different.
But this bullshit.
But just like everything else, man, life changes, but you kind of.
Do you have?
But wait. There were. I got to say though,
COVID's going.
Wait, before that, there were many times where Lito did grab a grip on a Kimura, and I was like, "Whoa!" Like I'm fucked here, and I wound up scrambling. Like Lito had that Kimura. Like I'm sure that's what he caught you with, Menace, right?
I probably rolled into it.
I'm saying though, if anything,
that's definitely what it was. 100, because that was my go-to.
I rolled when I should have spun.
Yeah, that was my go-to.
I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
I remember that being a move, though. Like, people always have their move. That was Lito's move. Lito was like, all right.
I always went to it. I felt very comfortable with it.
But, Menace, what'd you say about COVID?
I said, can you give us any insight on where COVID's going, the laws, the restrictions, what
do they tell you about enforcing laws? Like, are you guys walking the streets, kicking people out of bars?
6 feet away, motherfucker, I'll arrest you.
Well, I think a lot of it's just, it's really educational. I mean, you just go, depending on what groups are out there, listen, just, you got to be
but
safe.
it said earlier, a lot of people are stupid. And I can't even get mad at you because you're stupid. There's a lot of people like that. Yeah. So you have to.
But, with me, personal experience, I've never had an issue with people like F off this, that, they're respectful. All right, no problem. Either they, whatever it is. I'm not personally doing it, but I know these guys are, it's more of the educational. Like, look, this is the reason why they want this.
Are there laws right now? Or it's just like, hey, practice 6 feet, social distancing.
It's a gray area. Like, are they
wear your mask?
Are
they laws? They're not really laws, right?
Yeah, it really is a gray area. I mean, there are executive orders in place that kind of, we're able to enforce. There's, if you, whatever it is, the limit of people, you only have this amount of people or less, things like that. But again, I'm not personally seeing it in our area, and if we do, it's corrected. And the majority of people is like, all right, no problem. We don't want any issues. And then we just move our separate ways. So where
that misunderstanding that people have where they're like, this isn't a law. There's executive orders in place right now that make it a law.
Right, just like the face mask. There's an executive governor's order out there that people have to wear the mask, and that's really where that started. And it's kind of become a national mandate type of deal where everyone's wearing them everywhere you go. So, I guess executive orders. I mean, I'm not in the legal side of things, but once executive orders are passed, I don't know if they're legally binding. I wouldn't even call it that, but we're able to enforce them. So,
not yet. We might be running Lito against Andrew Cuomo in 2021 or 2022, whatever it is.
I don't know about that, man. I don't think politics is for me, man. If anything, I would love to just go back to a simpler life where I can get back onto the mats.
We just need you to we just need you to smile and talk and be nice.
Hair, yeah, you're tan.
Oh yeah.
Not too many scars.
Bro, you got my vote.
Yeah, listen, you guys are fantastic. I love the compliments. It's a good confidence booster. So,
all right,
I'll still beat your ass, but
so we'll try to arrange this again, Lito.
Beat your ass these days, like
I love it. Nah, I'd be like, thank you.
Depends
for that.
where we are. Like, if we're in Long Island, like, fine.
Yes.
As soon as out the door.
Yeah, if I'm in like official capacity, that's
federal property, motherfucker, right?
Yeah. It's like, Dennis, please don't do this right now. I'm working in uniform. Let's go back to the mats. That's it. We'll do it there. We'll take care of that. That's it.
Oh yeah, Menace was like, I think he's coming in uniform. I was like, really? We thought you were.
Because you messaged me like, hey, I'm home. Send me a link whenever. I'm like, oh, we might get him in uniform.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. On something like this, I would have to get pre-authorization and approval before if I was in uniform. So that's why I said I just wanted to make sure, I ran it by you to make sure everything was squared up before then. So
yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully we didn't cross any lines. We definitely didn't say anything.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think we had a great conversation, and I think these conversations need to be had from both sides of the table. I think that's how we really move on. So.
Can you get us a criminal on here next week?
It's a fine line.
Can you wait?
I would love to get a criminal on here.
Can you Can you go to Manhattan Correctional or wherever it is where they're holding Ghislaine Maxwell and FaceTime us?
Who?
Yeah, I don't have that kind of juice. So
the Jeffrey Epstein's chick, the one who they're holding,
the girlfriend.
I forget where they have her. I think in Brooklyn Correctional.
That's a whole crazy story in of itself. So
yeah, that's a whole nother
people out there.
That's a whole nother hour and a half of podcasting. But don't be a stranger, Lito. We'll definitely do this again because, like, me and Menace always have, like, we try to get Rich on whenever we have questions pertaining to politics. We definitely want to get you on, even if it's for a short time. Whenever we have questions pertaining to, what's going on with what's going on with New York.
What's going on in NYC?
Yeah. NYC is it's crazy times right now, but we'll battle back. We'll get back to it eventually. God willing.
But Lito, we'll let you get to the family. Are you going to watch Tyson versus Roy Jones this weekend?
I am actually. I'm actually taking off this Saturday for the first time in I don't know how long. So I'm actually looking forward to that. It's bringing me back to my childhood to see Mike Tyson back in the ring. Yeah,
it'll be a good one. But they're crazy rules, though. Nobody's going to win. And I was hearing today that they're not allowed to knock each other out.
Yeah, good luck once Tyson gets punched and he loses it.
No, not Dana White. Someone said it to Dana White, but Andy Foster, the head of the California State Athletic Commission, said it. And he said before the fight, he's going to go into the locker room and talk to both of them and tell them, listen, if you guys start
all I say is good luck with that.
if you guys start going too hard, I'm going to slow you guys down.
I don't know, man. I think they're at that age now where...
out of here.
Dennis, if you go back into the
I've done like 50% sparring. Stan, you know how many times I've done 50% sparring and this guy's like jabbing me? I'm like, if this is your 50%, you should be a world champion because
that's it. And then that's when you just take it to the next level, and that's what's gonna happen.
They're like, whoa, guys, slow down, easy. All right.
Yeah. Good luck.
Well,
good luck with that, especially with Mike Tyson.
We'll see.
But either way, I'm excited to see him back in.
I tell you what, if this turns into like a legit play fight, I'm gonna be pissed.
It might
and like, hey, dude, all right.
No, I hope not.
Like, you paid for this? Got ya, and they touch gloves. But we'll see.
Wow.
But Lito,
you know what? I'd be disappointed if that happens. So hopefully not.
I'm glad to see you doing good. You look great. I'm glad to hear the family doing good, beating the COVID. Nobody's had anything like that, right?
Yeah, no, thank God. No, thank you. I definitely appreciate you guys, man. More than you know.
And keep putting up the good fight, and keep. You're one of the good ones. So the way I said, don't speak in absolutes. This is a cop right here, a law enforcement employee who you could hold to a higher standard. He's definitely
just. After the show, if you need to know what address to send the PBA cards, we'll let you know.
Yes.
I got you, man. Don't worry about it.
Just kidding.
Oh, bro, the way how high up he is, he probably has extra ones sitting in a drawer right now.
I got some with your name on it.
But Lito, we'll keep you all night. So I'm trying to get you off here. So we'll let you get back to the family.
It. Thank you, brother.
Next time, come on, bring some beers or some. What do you drink? What is Dominican
Scotch.
beer? Scotch. Okay.
Yeah. No.
Like Rom Burgundy, a man with some class.
That's it, man. I'm class act.
I bet you his house smells like fucking books.
Probably.
I don't know about all that.
What's he saying? He's like, it smells like burgundy.
It smells of rich.
Oh yeah,
mahogany.
Yes, mahogany. That's it. Yes.
Mahogany.
Yes, but Lito,
quite there.
Don't be a stranger, brother. We'll stay in touch, and we'll definitely get you back on soon.
Thank you,
Listen,
you guys.
And if you need to voice out anything you need to say, reach out to any of us. We'd love to hear it.
Yes.
Say that again.
If there's anything you need to voice out, don't be afraid to reach out to us. We'd love to hear it.
I got you, brother. Thank you. Hey, look, thanks again, man. This is a great conversation we had, so I appreciate it.
I like it, dude. I like it.
Always a pleasure, Lito. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right. Be good, fellas. Thank you.
Lito, goodbye.
Big fan of that guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
For a second there, I was like, is he gonna shut off his phone?
He knew how to do it though. That's what I was wondering. I'm like, man, does he know how to do it?
Let's go over the card real quick, and then I gotta go to bed. Very fast.
I
mean, can we talk about how I scored 100 on this past card?
On the main card, you did, yes. Caitlyn, wow. Caitlyn looked amazing.
Awesome. She
Awesome.
stopped the takedown, and it was just like, because I had been there before, where I've like my shit was taking people down, and we got stopped. I'm like, oh fuck. And then I just went like, fuck it, like I gotta make this work, you know. But it has, what's her thing? Oh, why am I drawing a blank for her name?
Cynthia?
Has Cynthia not taken someone down before?
No, I feel like she takes everyone down.
Yeah.
Like that's her style. That's what I thought this fight might wind up.
And the thing is like, if I didn't take someone down, but I was out striking them, I'm like, I'm cool with this too. It's when like you can't take someone down and you're getting outstruck where you're like panic mode.
Caitlyn looked good, and then even after the fight,
awesome.
something we saw today, Caitlyn and Lauren Murphy talking shit back and forth. Or Lauren, that's
I don't think was Blondefighter saying anything back.
Blondefighter sent that picture of her with their hands raised.
But she didn't say anything.
That's a picture's worth 1,000 words. That girl was like, why would I fight Caitlyn Chukagian? And Caitlyn Chukagian was like, because I already beat you, bitch. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I already fucking beat you.
I thought that picture was already attached to.
And then maybe
that tweet.
No. That was Caitlyn's pic. Caitlyn posted that picture, but then even like she tried to say that she beat a champion or a title contender already. She beat Andrea Lee in a very close competitive fight that I thought Andrea Lee won, split decision, and then she beat Roxanne Modafferi. Roxanne's good. Is Roxanne better than Cynthia Calvillo?
No chance.
You know, like, I'm sorry, but it's not. Like, granted.
But her excuse not to fight Caitlyn was like, she got finished twice in 1 year. Like, hang on. You didn't finish her. You lost to her. So if she's that shitty of a fighter and she's ranked above you, why wouldn't you fight her and get the rank and an easy fight then?
Bro, Valentina and what's her name are finishing Lauren Murphy. Valentina and Andrade.
We gotta get Lauren Murphy on.
And Lauren Murphy's tough, but I don't think she's that level. She's not ready for, like, stylistically, Caitlyn beats her.
Hang on. Lauren Murphy is. Oh, fuck. Who's the guy I lost to? First guy. Lauren Murphy is Darren Elkins tough.
Yeah, she's tough. She's really tough. Yes. But, same thing.
She's the Darren Elkins of the women's division?
Same thing with Darren Elkins. Toughness will only get you so far. When you meet unless you steal a split decision from Dennis Bermudez, when you meet the upper echelon guys, you're not going to win those fights. Like, I don't think Lauren Murphy beats the top.
Well, hang on. I'm not an upper echelon guy.
I think you're underselling yourself. I think that was maybe an off night, and I think before that fight, you were hovering around an upper echelon guy.
I think on some nights, yeah, I'm not upper echelon night, but
yeah, you were a top 10 guy who on any given night could have beaten probably most of the guys in the top 10, if not, an any given night type of situation. But amazing performance by Caitlyn. I think she beats Lauren Murphy in a rematch. Lauren Murphy, you sound stupid. The last girl you beat, it was her UFC debut. And before that, you beat Roxanne Modafferi. So the line for you starts behind Caitlyn.
Listen, I don't want to be too biased. I would like to have her on the show, just see.
Well, remember, I don't want to. I want to be bipartisan too. But remember, I think it was you I talked to. Remember, after she won, she started her last fight. She started going, "I want a title shot. My next fight will be a title shot." And everyone was like, "Who the fuck did she just beat? Like, what are you talking about? You just beat Jill fucking Bell."
I get her angle. The squeaky wheel gets the oil.
You know what? I'm 2 massives deep. I'm just gonna. You know what? I'm gonna crack open my next massive, and I'm just gonna say it. You're not hot, Lauren Murphy. You're not attractive. You're the butterface girl of the 125 division.
Oh my God, Stan! What the fuck?
I think you're a great fighter. I'd probably get drunk and fuck you because you do have an amazing body, but your face is not there. So the UFC's not going to want to market that. Shoot me straight, Menace. Are you telling me I'm a liar right now? You think UFC's going to go, Lauren Murphy, you won 2 fights, title shot. Lauren Murphy is going to have the 5 or 6 fight to get to a title. They're not going to give her a title shot after that. They don't want her to be champion. No chance.
Well, I mean,
bro,
I tell you what,
they will pick. They will pick every girl.
What she's doing, they might be like, I mean, we don't. Yeah, I guess go ahead, take a shot.
They will pick every girl around the top 15, other than Lauren Murphy for a.
Well, they do have the. Listen, I've had it hard. I was a drug addict. I changed my life.
I'm not trying to be a dick, and even that, it'll come back one day where people are like, look at you. I don't give a shit. I don't claim to be the best looking guy. Never said I was. Never claiming I am. Never claiming I'm just saying. Marketability wise, casual fan perspective, what I look at when I see TV, if I'm a casual fight fan tuning in, I turn in, oh my God, who the fuck is this bitch?
If she was like knocking people unconscious though, for a minute.
Okay. Start knocking people out. Cyborg.
I'm just trying to see if you would be okay with that.
I would. She'd be Cyborg 2.0.
Well, she's submitted every girl.
I'm okay with Lauren Murphy as a fighter. I'm sure she's a great person. I'm just saying, attractive wise and marketability wise, she's cringeworthy.
Does she have fake boobs?
Yeah, I think so. But marketability wise, she's not a solid bet for the UFC, and appearance-wise, casual fan perspective, I don't want to see that. Why was Ronda such a big star? Because she was hot. Why was
he also finished people?
Granted,
hang on.
Listen,
you cut the line to get to a title.
Great fighter.
Never lose, or you finish people.
Great fighter, yes, but what made her a superstar was she was attractive. So here we go. Lauren Murphy could become champion. The division will flatline. Not throwing shade, but do you know who the worst selling UFC pay-per-views in history are in the modern era?
Demetrius Johnson?
Nope. Uglier. All right, wait, less attractive. I'll be PC sensitive. Less attractive to the casual community. Amanda Nunes. I'll just say it. Amanda Nunes. I'm sure she's
really.
I'm sure there's some people out there who
her numbers are lower than
Demetrius's. I'm sure there's people out there who find her gorgeous. I'm sure she's a gorgeous woman.
She destroys people though.
Cyborg wasn't that big of a draw either. I don't think. Nobody wants to see that. You know
You know what? Listen. If you're
wait, and even
MMA, women's MMA, because of how good or not good looking they are, like, get the fuck out of here. Watch something else. Go watch.
You'd be surprised how many people probably are.
No, I know. Unfortunately.
And so
listen, that's a bonus.
But here's and I'm not trying to be a total dick. I'm just saying that as my argument for it. Who is the most marketable woman in MMA?
Paige Vanzant, right?
Is she the best fighter?
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but Karate Hottie's better looking than her, I think.
Is she the best fighter?
She's better.
But I'm saying she's no. So if Paige is number 1, Karate Hottie's number 2, is she the best fighter? No. Even it equates to.
Hang on, I think Karate Hottie is a better fighter and better looking, and I don't think she was getting what Paige was getting in terms of money. Why do you think Paige isn't in the UFC anymore?
It might have been close. Karate Hottie gets paid pretty good, I think, because she
wasn't getting
Paige money.
No, I remember not Dana White. I remember my manager telling me like there's 2 divas in the UFC. One of them is a champion. The other one's not.
So was that Ronda and Paige?
Yes.
I could see that.
Like they're like fucking. It was tough working with them because they knew how many followers they had, how much a draw they had.
I think there's 3 divas in the UFC. I think Conor could be put in that category as well. For a male perspective, as a male, Conor knows what he brings to the table, so he goes, "No, I'm not doing that." And they go, "All right, well."
Still was a champion at one point in 2 different weight classes. So.
Oh, so you're even using the example of like how high Paige was able to get with her looks, if you will.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. That's a real thing. So you're telling me Lauren Murphy, maybe if there's no one else, but they're not. They'll give Caitlyn a title shot before they give Lauren Murphy a title shot.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing that. I'm just
off of looks alone. Off of merit, it's a competitive argument because Caitlyn has a win over her, and like I said, Lauren Murphy doesn't have the wins. But we're spending a lot of time on this Lauren Murphy character.
I mean, you just cracked your 3rd massive. That's why.
Yeah.
I gotta go to bed in like 5 minutes.
But UFC 255 was good. Other than that fight, what was the other one? Don't even really care, do you?
I told you Tim Means would win.
You told me Tim Means would win. That was a close fight, though. That was competitive. And then Valentina looked like she had a little problems in the 2nd round, but nothing major. And then that Figueiredo guy is a fucking killer.
I would love to see Demetrius come back and see, because Demetrius wasn't ever like, you're not the champion anymore. It was just like,
well, they traded him.
I know, but like,
oh man, that'd be a good trade to get back, though, right? I mean, they got some good work out of Ben Askren.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, they do that trade. Demetrius comes back, smashes him, and then like, okay, who's next? I mean, I'm gonna be here for a while. Like, well, we're gonna shut down that weight class.
We just got you back. You want to move up 35? You want to bump up? But what was this weekend?
Or I mean, I don't think it's very real at all. There was like, hey, Henry, you want to go back and get that belt? This guy's a problem.
Henry said show him the money.
He's going to need a lot of money because I heard he was like 170 right now.
He looks it. I saw a picture. He has a new, I guess. So we got to get him back on too. So you saw he was posting for a minute how he was posting a bunch of pictures with a girl and everyone kept saying that was his first girlfriend ever in his life.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, he was going along with it and saying, like, my first girlfriend ever, and apparently they broke up. And then recently he's been on the beaches with some new girl who's like 6 inches taller than him, hot. So, who knows what Henry Cejudo's doing?
He's like we spoke to him last time. You just have to have confidence.
Got to have that confidence. He's got little dick energy, or big dick energy on a little guy.
What card we have coming up?
Curtis Blades, Derek Lewis. I think that's a tough night for Derek Lewis.
Listen, Derek Lewis is a homie. I like him a lot. I like the guy.
Love Derek Lewis.
I think just on paper, stylistically, it definitely favors Blades.
Who's been on Menace and the Man?
Curtis Blades. Yep.
But I think it's a tough night for Derek.
Right? Don't we owe him like a pair of Jordans?
Cliff does. Cliff never sent them there, but we'll revisit that one day.
Yeah.
But Rachel Ostovich versus Gina Mazzani. Who do you think's going to win that one?
Rachel won on my retirement night, so I'm going Rachel.
Rachel lost on your retirement night.
Rachel's going to lose again.
Yeah, she lost to Paige Vanzant.
Oh, that's right.
Ashley Evans Smith is going to beat some girl up.
Yep.
Shout out to Ashley, Sex and Violence with Rebel Girl. The girl who she's fighting, Norma Dumont Viana, I told you was the one who came in and got knocked out by Megan Anderson. So that's a tough night for her. And then we don't know anybody on the main card other than the co-main event. Our past guest, Devin Clark, big step up in competition, fighting Anthony Smith. Big step up in competition. I think this is Anthony Smith, too.
What was Devin Clark's last fight?
Anthony Smith is jumping in on short notice. Devin Clark's last fight was that guy Townsend.
And he won?
Or no, Alonzo Menafield was his last fight, and he won. And Menafield was 9-0 or 10-0, so he was like a prospect, and Clark beat him. But
decision.
I'm gonna go Devin Clark in that one, or I'm gonna root for Devin Clark, but it's a tough fight. Anthony Smith's tough. I know Devin Clark's game is the ground.
Yeah, I would like to see Devin Clark win because he's
a friend of the show.
And I tell you what, I say this all the time. It's easier to fight up to somebody than it is to fight down to somebody.
Yes, and we've spoken about it too, where once you hit that point, some guys, and again, no shade to you, but like for you, once you were like, I'm this far away from being a champion, I'm done. You checked out a little bit. Like,
well, when I was fighting someone that wasn't getting me close to the title, that was a big name. It was like,
exactly. So for Anthony Smith now,
it's tough to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning to run.
Is Anthony Smith checked out right now? You know what I mean? This isn't that big fight that
it's just a quick payday
that he was probably looking for. You know, he's coming off. I want to say his last fight was that Glover fight where he got fucked up.
Yeah.
Was fucking Glover up, but then got fucked up. But I'm going to go.
Maybe he's been doing something. Who knows? Well,
so you got Curtis Blades or Derek Lewis in that main event?
Curtis Blades.
Curtis Blades all day?
Yep.
All right. And then, so Tyson versus Roy Jones is going to be an exhibition, but Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson. Are you going to watch the fights this weekend? Possibly?
Somehow.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens with Jake Paul and Nate Robinson. Who do you think is going to win that one?
So, one thing that Logan Paul, right?
Yep.
I believe he was like a state champion.
Jake Paul. This is the brother. He was a wrestler too, but not a champion.
Oh.
And I don't know if Logan was a state champion. I think he placed in states. I have to double check, but I think he wrestled at a D2 or D3 college too. So he's an athlete. Yeah.
I'm going to say being an NBA player and not like a bench guy is a different type of athlete.
But fighter? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Because even like I've told you, you can hate on the YouTube guys, even KSI, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, they took it seriously. Like I've seen videos, they don't look horrible in their mitt work, and they seem like they're doing the right things. Like they're.
What idiot was calling out Floyd Mayweather?
I think this dude.
Jake.
Jake or Logan, one of them.
Like, took the W out because you're not going to get that, and like L because that's what you're going to get. Like,
why not though?
Are you? I totally get it. I totally get it. Like, yeah, it's a big cash out, but like, it's like disrespectful almost.
Very. Like you spoke about with Rashad last week. I put in years and years and years of hard work, and you're just jumping in with your YouTube following because you made fucking stupid videos to jump into my game. But same thing with CM Punk. If you got the following, bring the eyes and get the bag, make the money.
CM Punk.
It's similar.
Put 2 years in. Like he signed 2 years before he actually fought.
So was I think Shannon Briggs.
These guys have been training. They have, but like, listen, man.
They're trying, but we'll figure it out. But two things I wanted to talk about. We'll talk about one of them more in depth. Well, both of them more in depth next episode. But Khabib posted, "I'll see you soon, Dana White."
I did see that.
Maybe, and they haven't stripped him yet. He's still in the USADA testing pool. So looks like we're going to see Khabib again. That's what it's looking like. If you're reading at face value, we're going to see Khabib again.
Or maybe he'll be a commentator for the Russian
Oh, you think they burn
ESPN?
You think they're trying to burn us on some dumb shit like that? Like, like, yo, remember they did that with GSP one time. They did that with GSP. They were like, GSP re-signs with UFC, but he's going to be doing like translating to fucking French.
Yeah.
They might be doing something like that. But I don't know. Dana says he's coming back. And then the last thing before we get out of here, and I want to go deeper into it next episode. What's next for Jorge Masvidal? It seems like we haven't heard anything from Monsvado after the Usman fight. Some rumors of a Nate Diaz fight, but we haven't seen anything. Did you ever shoot a shot to Jorge Masvidal?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I might have.
Well,
actually, I think I did.
Well, we'll figure that out and try to make some moves for the next episode. I guess we'll decide if we want to call this a full one or a half one. That's your call.
This has been the most serious episode we've ever had.
Yeah, we didn't laugh too much. A little bit.
And that's how you should market it. Like this, like that clip. Like, this is the most serious episode we've ever had. And then like a highlight of...
It wasn't that serious.
What do you mean?
Was it that serious?
How much did we really laugh? We were asking like, yo, this is bullshit. Bang, bang, bang. That's fucked up. Shouldn't do that.
Well, I had funny talking points that I could have talked about. So here's some things that we'll laugh about right before we get out of here. You've seen AOC. You know her, right?
No.
You don't know who AOC is?
No.
The girl from the Bronx, the politician. You know her if you've seen her. So the joke will go over your head. But anyway, I saw a picture of AOC's boyfriend, and I know how she is. All she does is complain about shit. She's always in the news about some dumb shit. And I was going to joke, and I was like, man, she probably just needs some good dick. Like, she fucks like some like ugly fucking Homer Simpson ginger-looking dude who's like balding. Like, she definitely doesn't...
Like you.
Am I a Homer Simpson-looking dude balding? No way, bro. I fucking...
You are ginger.
I'm not ginger, but...
Yes, you are.
But I'm not saying she needs a dick from me, but I would give it to her. But she's always complaining. She does not get good dick at home. She goes home and probably keeps complaining to her boyfriend, and there's no point where he ever tells her, like, just shut the fuck up and stop. Like, he just lets her keep yapping, and then she goes to work the next day.
Over.
Yep, but you don't know AOC, so you didn't get the joke. But then even I saw you won't laugh at the next one either because you have to see the commercial. But I saw like a commercial with like it was a commercial for schizophrenia. So you know what schizophrenia is, right? No, schizophrenia is like when you have like multiple personalities, like you're a fucking schizo. Like 1 second you're over here, then the next second you're flipping out about something else, or like it's like a crazy person who constantly switches how they're thinking. But they had a commercial on for schizophrenia, and all the girls in the commercial were like super hot. And I was like, I would date any one of, like, this is a girl. Like, this is a hot girl. Every hot girl probably has schizophrenia. And then I was like, man, why would they put such hot girls in the commercial? It was really something to think about. All right, well, we didn't laugh much this episode, like you said. Maybe next time.
The most serious episode we've ever had. Can you just sign off on that? Why are you fighting it?
Because I don't want to be that serious of a show. But yeah, we'll call it.
I gotta go.
We'll call it that. It was good seeing you, Menace.
All right. Well, see you later.